Notice your breath as you take some deep breaths in and out. Breathe out to let go of any worries and tensions you may temporarily be having. And breathe in a feeling of more relaxation and well-being. Perhaps you might like to visualize yourself breathing out clouds of unwelcome emotions you may have been experiencing lately, while breathing in energy and optimism, more of what you do want to be feeling. More than hearing these words in your mind means to feel these visuals happening. See and feel your tensions physically release. Feel your tension let go. You will have thoughts arise as you lay down or sit quietly for longer than a few minutes. That is okay. You don't need to resist your thoughts, because if you resist them, they will only get stronger. Have you ever noticed while you try to not think of something, it seems you think of it even more? Instead of trying to not think of something, instead simply allow yourself to divert attention elsewhere. We don't need your thoughts to be stronger and more resistant. We are choosing for them to be weaker during this time, so we can experience new thoughts, new patterns, and ways of being which are going to reward you. So we will not resist any thoughts that might arise. Know that you are feeling relaxed. Knowing means to see it and feel it happening. The most limiting cause for enhancing new possibilities in our lives are beliefs and what we believe is possible. There is, in fact, far more happening before our eyes every day than what we can see, because we are conditioned to believe certain presumptions. Is the world flat? No, it's round. Matter is solid. No, matter at the subatomic level is actually particles. We can literally see only a fraction of what is taking place in our lives every day. Once we recognize that our beliefs are one of the most limiting factors of potential in our lives, we can then test our assumptions by simply becoming aware of what works, what creates an effect, and how can we test it further. Now, with an open mind, let's continue to test what might be possible, but this time with your personal vision or dream. Once we have attained a personal vision, which has now been enhanced by using the Dream Portal and the Philosopher's Stone audio training programs, what we want to see follow now is a momentum developing from the intention within our subjective internal universe to begin manifesting into the objective outer world of form. As you already know, everything happens in our deeper mind first, the causal plane. Therefore, we must clear away some common beliefs you may have and remove the obstacles from our perceived limitations to enhance your dream, idea, visualization, ambition to a fuller and more realized experience, and as a result, make things happen into the physical, objective universe. One of those obstacles and limiting beliefs is time. Like any obstacle we encounter, the best way to overcome them is to consider multi-dimensional solutions. If, for example, we encounter a cavern while hiking in the wilderness, and it's not possible to cross directly, then we can consider bringing the other side to us. We could do this by throwing a rope to the other side, which in effect means we have made contact to where we want to be, and then it would simply be a matter of climbing the connecting rope to the other side. The rope in this case is like our connecting hand. We can touch from where we are to where we vision to be. From this position you are now, you might have a vision in your mind with regards to where you would like to be or an experience you would like to have. This vision could be any ambition you have that by making it more real, more vivid, and brought into the objective universe of form could bring you greater fulfillment than it is right now. Therefore, we need to consider multi-dimensional solutions, much like what we used across the cavern while bushwalking to make your vision more real than it is now. We in effect can throw a rope to connect with your future. As the space in between the now and your future is quite literally space. We need not think two-dimensionally along a horizontal line. There are more dimensions to consider. Remember, there is far more to reality than what we believe, and therefore what we can see. If, for example, we were to be flying a spacecraft, the most efficient way to cross between position A and position B would be through a wormhole, especially if the distance between point A and point B is horizontally vast. Without delving into advanced wormhole physics here, wormholes exist by means of gravitational forces which connect point A's with point B's in space-time. This gravitational force literally folds space-time, much like folding a piece of paper does to bring opposite sides together. By throwing a rope to your vision, it is possible to connect with it. Now we need something like a wormhole, which in effect folds space-time to bring the points together, from where you are to what you can see. This gravitational force making the wormhole possible is desire. Have you ever considered what desire is, or what our thoughts actually are? What is gravity? An invisible force that pulls objects together. Desire is an invisible force pulling things together. Desire is a gravitational force which is capable of bending space-time so that you, in effect, may experience a future position now. By experiencing this future position, we may now recognize what it looks like, how it feels, and why it is fulfilling, because desire connects with it. Brain scans have actually proven that our brain's electrical activity does not know the difference between what we can see happening right now and a memory. This raises a question. Does our brain see, or do our eyes? Now that you might have connected with your vision, we can begin pulling it toward you using cycles of time. The same way that our feelings have motion, like the flow of water in a stream, we are now going to combine your dream, intention, or vision with a cycle of time to leverage what might now be your inspiration in your mind to a more powerful and more real dream, and perhaps also to bring it forth into the objective outer universe. Just as how we can feel a moon cycle from waxing or waning are known to have effects on physical matter such as the body of water in the ocean. If the moon can make the ocean roar with waves that carry great power, what could it also do for your inner intentions? Cycles of time such as the moon have power in them. Connecting this energy with your vision at the causal plane can make your dreams even more vivid, more experiential, and more real. Remember, awareness is connection. The secret to leveraging time to yield greater and greater results in your future has been in front of you all along. That secret is that we must awaken to is the now. This is not an idle now during the next 15 minutes. Awakening to the now literally means this very second in time. That means if you make a decision, it means right now. How many individuals do you hear about complaining, "This didn't happen for me," or "I never found the love of my life"? Why? They only ever exist in some distant place, somewhere, or feeling how they are dissatisfied or unhappy. They in effect never leverage their future because they are never in the now. In effect, the future becomes weakened by their inability to decide and take action right now. The most powerful leverage to your future is the here and now, this very second, this moment in time. We can now connect right now with a cycle, with a phase like the moon, to in effect make something. Instead of allowing each moment to slip by without the lucidity, clarity you do have right now. we are brightening your star of awareness. Then, with this awareness, like the moon, when it is bright and full, make the ocean rise, make your dream real. Cycle which is increasing can be used for enhancing new ventures, plans and projects. It's not necessary for you to try and see something magical, illusionary, or real happening for it to have effects that are real, but simply to be aware of them is enough. There is no need to try and force anything here, but just to listen and relax as you hear the meaning to the words you're hearing. Your deeper mind is making all of the necessary things happen, such as listening to this program, so that you are better able to work for yourself rather than be against. Your deeper mind is connected to these forces and uses them so long as we can fulfill the necessary elements of creating, which are the following key understandings which make cycles of time. 1. Being fully present in the here and now. 2. Holding a vision. What do I want? And 3. Desire. As you become more familiar with cycles of time, you will become better able to use these key concepts and also notice them more often. If it is possible to be aware of these forces and feel them, then it is also possible to connect with them and use them. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like in a world where everything was characterized as inert or the same? A motionless world where only little things happened, like globules of slime blended together. If we were to observe such a world as a chemical reaction, it would be very, very slow and boring. Likewise, if we were to observe a chemical reaction where the environment being observed had enormous potential, but instead the molecules did not interact, this would also be very, very slow and boring. This would be like having unrealized potential. If we were to observe a chemical equation where there were forces available and the chemical elements did interact with each other, then it would be very interesting to observe because things would be happening, creating and changing. In other words, realized potential happening. We describe the word force here. Force literally means any interaction that, when unopposed, will change the motion of an object. What we are doing here is changing the motion of reality. Reality is made up of many objects called cells and particles. We live in an environment where forces of time are indeed felt and observable. Cycles of time move us forwards and can move you closer and closer towards your dream. Cycles of time can move you toward your dream faster if you decide to connect the what do I want, am I awake here and now, and desire. To simply connect with them all you need to do is be aware of them. Just like the stagnant chemical reaction where the elements do not interact, nothing can happen. But the chemical reaction where the elements do react, by connecting, a lot can happen. Awareness means connection. To unlock your cycles of time training, remember the 3 understandings covered so far. 1. Being present in the here and now. 2. Having a vision or ambition. And 3. Desire. Forces within nature for the purpose of evolution and adaptation could be described as energy, concentration, evolution, or greater and greater levels of organization. These evolutionary cycles offer growth and potential by means of nourishing and gathering together. We see this quality taking place in spring as the plants grow and develop after a long winter, collecting moisture and decomposing the excess plant matter from the prior summer. In nature, much of these forces are evolutionary. There are some which can also be destructive. There is no better example of this positive destruction than fungus. As plant matter decays, it begins to decompose itself from larger chains of cells to smaller chains. Fungus consumes decaying matter as food to produce byproduct nutrients other plants have capacity to consume, such as trees. So we see a disorder in nature which appears destructive is actually fundamental to also offer regeneration in a wider picture. In context of vision, we may use a cycle that is reducing, diminishing, or closing to those things which are no longer working for us. And we can use any force or quality which appears as bringing together, increasing, and evolving to what we can observe as beneficial and working for us. We may choose to consciously renew our inspiration by breaking down those things we don't want in our life anymore, to offer energy for those things we do want and are working. If we are holding on to dissatisfactions, sadness, or menacing grief, we can now use this energy by way of breaking them down for what it really is, energy. We can then regenerate our positive inspiration, add enthusiasm, organization, and charge for what we do want. Instead of fighting with what you don't want, allow cycles of diminishing and closing and waning in character to actually then enthuse and stimulate what you do want to happen by way of simple and conscious energy conversion. Just like in the chemical reaction, we use the energy contained in dissatisfaction to allow energy and rejuvenation to what you want to experience more of. Indeed, I am not my thoughts, but the sphere of awareness beneath them. Should I choose my thoughts more intentionally, they can change. I am exactly who I am, Illusions can be disappointing, but truth is satisfying. Being more than any symbol, public opinion, or self-evaluation can define. My experiences are my own. There is no one other, as it is my responsibility for life to discover who I am and what to value most. Being of my own kind, I am sui generis. Welcome.